As the legal advisor of Liwei, she gives legal advice. But she'll destroy you for breaking the law, as wise innocent Yanfei. So let's start talking about our lovely legal advisor with pyro power. Yanfei is a playable pyro character in Genshin Impact. She is the daughter of an Adeptus father and a human mother. After she grew up, her parents left to go on an adventure, placing her in the care of Madame Ping. She resides in Liwei, serving as a legal advisor for its people. Yanfei is a female character in Genshin Impact. Her weapon is a catalyst and her vision is pyro. Yanfei's birthday is July 28th and her constellation is Bastia Usisha. Her nation is Liwei. Yanfei has two affiliations with the Yanfei Legal Consultancy and the Adepti. Her special dish is My Way, which is a variant of the crab roe tofu. The voices of the legal advisor in the four localizations of Genshin Impact are Lizzie Freeman in English, Susuru in Chinese, Hanamori Yumeri in Japanese, and Cho Kanyi in Korean. Yanfei has two titles, which are Wise Innocence and Liyue Harbor's famed a legal advisor. Yanfei is a young woman with a pale complexion and bright teal green eyes with ovoid pupils. She has salmon pink hair flowing past her shoulders, fading to the pale peach at the tips. The hair around the sides of her head is chopped short at the ear length in a fringe, revealing a part of her cream-colored antlers, indicating her adeptal heritage. In addition to this, the sides of her chest, ankles, and the back of her hands have the diamond-shaped markings that resemble scales. Her outfit consists of a dark and red-black blackless crop top accended with gold. A white scarf wrapped around collared accents with dark red, and a pair of detached long puffed white sleeves with black cuffs, a large white pom-pom attached to each. She wears a large dark red shuji hat accended with black and gold. Her collar and hat are both adorned with gold tomball-shaped buttons. As well as this, she wears a short dark and red skirt lined with gold swirls akin to clouds, fastened with a yellow ribbon tied to a bow on her left hip over a pair of uneven black shorts with lace trim. Her footwear consists of a pair of red and gold unturned-toed boots with white fluffy linen and gold heels and soles. She carries a dick book, fastened by her two leather belts to her right hip, with her vision affixed. She also carries a large steel yarn decorated with Adeptus elements. Her outfit, Golden Rule, is described as a dress that Yanfei wears when she heads out to visit clients. Yanfei enjoys appraisal reading and is very knowledgeable on many topics, most notably the law, due to her career as a legal advisor. With a strong sense of justice, Yanfei does not mind traveling to help her clients should they have trouble in different parts of Liwei. She claims to have experienced knowledge of the laws of other nations in Teyvat, though she notes Fontaine's law is to be the most difficult. She is well known by the people of Liwei for her knowledge and is considered the primal legal advisor of Liwei, a title that grants her many clients across the nation. When Ningguang, the Taekwon of Liwei Qixing, states that Yanfei memorization of the laws allows her to quickly close loopholes in existing laws faster than she would have been able to herself. When resolving disputes, Yanfei always gets all the legal evidence beforehand to make a compelling and convincing argument. Although she can handle any case, she dislikes having to deal with civil suits, as many in Liwei do. Yanfei places a high value on the importance of contracts, though she is noted to place a higher value on them more than the average person due to her nature of her job. Despite having the blood of an adeptus in her veins, Yanfei is not particularly connected about her adeptal heritage. And in one of her few who did not sign the contract with Flex Lapis due to being born in the era of peace, she is very active and often talks a lot. A spark consists for her father, who Madame Ping knew to be more solemn. She spends her time much like an average human does, and unlike most adepti, Yanfei doesn't consider herself above mortals in any way. Despite her playful nature, Yanfei takes her job seriously and practically, ensuring she and all involved parties of a case is well accounted for. She is also willing to be pro bono work and do it as well as she isn't required to be deeply involved. Yanfei dreams of a day where people live honest and happy lives, and there is no longer a need for legal advisors. Should such a day ever come, Yanfei's backup plan is to become a rapper. Yanfei enjoys tofu because it is a valuable in versatility. She dislikes cold food, and she rarely eats them since her father told her that food was best served hot. Seal of approval is Yanfei's normal attack. The normal attack shoots fireballs that deal up to 3 counts of pyro damage. When Yanfei's normal attack hits enemies, they will grant her a single scarlet seal. Yanfei may produce a maximum of 3 scarlet seals, and each time the effect is triggered, the duration of currently possessed scarlet seals will refresh. Each scarlet seal will decrease Yanfei's stamina consumption and will disappear when she leaves the field. And the charge attack consumes stamina and all scarlet seals before dealing AoE pyro damage to opponents from a short casting time. The charge attack's AoE and damage will increase according to the amount of scarlet seals consumed. While the plumbing attack gathering a power of pyro, Yanfei punches towards the ground from mid-air, damaging all opponents in her path, dealing AoE pyro damage upon impact. Signed Educt is Yanfei's elemental skill. It summons bursting flames that deal AoE pyro damage. Opponents hit by the flames will grant Yanfei the maximum number of scarlet seals. Done Deal is Yanfei's elemental burst. It triggers a spray of instant flames that rush at nearby opponents, dealing AoE pyro damage, granting Yanfei the maximum number of scarlet seals and applying brilliance to her. The brilliance has a following effects. It grants Yanfei a scarlet seal at fixed intervals and increases the damage dealt by her charge attacks. The effects of brilliance will end if Yanfei leaves the field or falls in battle. Proviso is Yanfei's first Ascension passive skill. When Yanfei consumes scarlet skills by using a charge attack, each scarlet scale will increase Yanfei's pyro damage bonus by 5%. This effect lasts for 6 seconds. When a charge attack is used again during the affection duration, it will dispel the previous effect. Blazing Eye is Yanfei's 4th Ascension passive skill. When Yanfei's charge attack deals a crit hit to opponents, she will deal an additional intense of AoE pyro damage equal to 80% of her attack. This damage counts as charge attack damage. encyclopedic expertise is Yanfei's utility passes skill. Displays the location of nearby resources unique to Liyue on the minimap. Liyue is a port that prices contracts and trade, and it is a place where wealth accumulates. Merchants from various nations are active here, which has contributed to Liyue's abundance, but has also brought up many disagreements. The Taekwon Ningguang has written a very comprehensive compendium of laws to deal with this, but not everyone has a patience to study them. Thus was born the role of the legal advisor in Liyue society. Highly familiar with Liyue's laws, they help those in need to navigate any constructions, earning recompense for their efforts. Yanfei is a primer legal advisor in Liyue. She always is able to obtain the most benefit for her clients, insofar as the law will allow it. Some even call her the laws that walk. But in truth, what Yanfei, one of the few half-illuminated beasts who have yet to sign a contract with Flex Lapis, really wants to do is to live a free and happy life. As for a copy of General Law of Liyue that she carries around on her person, Yanfei has this to say. If you don't wish to be bound by the rules, you have to first understand them all. As the most sought-out-after legal advisor in Liyue, Yanfei rates are also top of the line. Even so, she never lacks for people coming to seek appointments. After all, merchants are not the stringy about mediation fees, but are also very picky indeed about the mediator. Money is no object. We must have Yanfei come and settle this matter before us. Many rate Yanfei in this fashion, not only for her quick thinking or her masterful authority, but also because she's very grateful, emphasizes the counterstone of the law, fairness. Her mediations often end in win-win situations, and even merchants with daggers draw or will temporarily set their prejudice aside. Though she is unbound by a contract, Yanfei has made her own consideration to the peace and prosperity of Liyue. As a legal advisor, Yanfei does not have a fair share of weaknesses. An example of the mediation of civil disputes that involved emotions and relationships, divorces, inheritance, custody disputes, senior care, severances, the list continues. It is said that upright officials are hapless in the household affairs. And so it is also with Yanfei, who grew up surrounded by love. These matters fall right into her blind corner. Sometimes she will find both sides have reasons of their own, and the other time she will find them to be both unreasonable. Child custody disputes are the absolute worst, as no matter how she settles them, the settlement will have a great physiological impact on the innocent children. Even if Yanfei chooses to soldier on, she will only tire herself out. Hopefully everyone can meet the right person and to be spread this particular grief. As a result of her greatly intolerant nature, Yanfei has a wide variety of personal relationships throughout Liyue. There is no need to worry about rubbing a sore spot, and you'll be able to get along with her whether you are an avid conversationalist or not. Of course, this is true as long as you don't attempt to dispute with her or start a conversation about a legal profession. Yanfei in work mode is a completely different beast to deal with. Additionally, Yanfei has cultivated the habit of being overly vigorous from her long years of studying the law. When chatting, Yanfei will vigorously eliminate any ambiguity or loopholes present in the discourse. and can seem like a bit of a chatterbox. When she realizes this, Yanfei is forced to knock herself on the head with a book in irritation. However, so long she constantly bathes in the sea of legal literature. This habit will probably be quite hard to break. When investigating the law, Yanfei's habit is to look past the cold letters of the law to perceive their point of origin. As such, she is also something of a master of reading comprehension in her relationships. Once the traveler met Yanfei by chance and said, didn't expect to see you here. This should have been a line that one might hear just about anywhere, but it wound up holding a completely different meaning for Yanfei. Didn't expect to meet you here implied that the traveler had at least thought about a scenario in which they would meet. Then why the use of didn't expect? One could only pursue that the traveler had some explanation of where she might appear, and that her current location was not such a place, but whence came the expectation. Could it be that the traveler had always been paying attention to her in secret? Does this mean that the traveler, Yanfei tossed and turned in bed that night, unable to sleep? Yanfei's most prized possession is the steel yard balance that her father gave her. It is said that the balance was a treasure given by Rex Lapis that can be used to measure the value of all things. For convenience, Yanfei tends to use Mora to balance the scales, which is to say that she uses Mora to evaluate objects. The pieces of many objects have slowly changed over the years, but weighting an object with the balance only gives its value at the time Mora was created, leaving the rest of Yanfei to exercise her own wisdom and judgment. Across the measurements of countless objects, Yanfei is able to see the changes in leeway. Some objects that were once common have become vanishingly rare, and some exotic objects of the past have been rendered pedestrian today. This steel yard balance reminds her that many things can't be valued by the standards of the world. Yanfei once tried to weigh the value of a vision, but no matter how much more she added, the scales would never be balanced. In frustration, she placed it on the scale as a box of her waist, which contracted for heavy, handwritten legal narrations only did the weights had at least even out. Codex Finalem is the most special of the many legal treatises that Yanfei collects. As opposed to the codexes that grew heavier and more complied with time, this book is unbelievably light and thin. After opening it and gaining past the prologue, one will find not but the most basic few principles of the law inscribed. As Yanfei sees it, this is the final form of the law. In a far future, the law will have entered into the people's hearts. All people will be admirable, modest, and live happily in this world. The halls of judgment will lie empty, and the mountains of legalist shell will be cracked in years of dust. Though this may sound like something very far off, for someone like Yanfei, in whom the blood of illuminated beasts, living till that day is hardly a great accomplishment. But if I think about it more deeply, I'd be out of the job then, wouldn't I? After encountering one of Jian's performances by chance, Yanfei was quite taken by the new wave of performance art. That said, learning an instrument from such scratch provided to be a bit difficult, so after consulting a great many resources, Yanfei came to what she considered to be a decent backup plan. If such a day were to arrive, she would just become a rapper. For someone who can resend tens of thousands of words worth of leeway laws from front to back within an hour speed at least should be no challenge. Yanfei's father is a illuminated beast, while her mother is an ordinary mortal merchant. Born into peaceful times, Yanfei did not sign a contract with Rex Lapis, but instead had one with her parents to live happily. As Liwei's leading legal exchange, she is no stranger to exploiting some existing loopholes in the law, at times for herself and sometimes for others. It has been made clear often enough that Yanfei is not a sticker for the rules and hates no wish to be stickled by strictures. Still, she contributes to the betterment of Liwei as she seeks her own pursuit and will not use these loopholes for ill. When making addendums to legal loopholes each year, Ningguang, the Tue Quan, will often study Yanfei's doings, as if she were Liwei's unofficial legal troubleshooter. In a sense, one could argue that Yanfei makes the laws better at the lowest possible price. This principle is also the reason why she has never been convicted of exploiting any such loopholes. Yanfei believes in no structure without laws, and what she wishes for is to live as long as it pleases without overstepping. Everyone in Liwei, adeptus or mortal, protects it in their own way. That is why Yanfei possesses a vision, one that is equal weight to her own principles. Yanfei in Chinese is for smoking scarlet. Her constellation, Bestia Lustitia, is Latin for beast of justice. Referring to her illuminated beast bloodline, her burst, Wrath of the Flame, embroidered upon in voiceovers, is a pun that the lost translation, the original is fire-eating punishment, Shi Yan Ji Fa, which is based by lore on Rex Lapis' rock-eating punishment, Shi Yan Ji Fa. Both of these are spelled the same and are ultimately a pun on the phrase punishment of breaking a promise, Shi Yan Ji Fa. Fact 1. Her father is an adeptus who campaigned with Rex Lapis in the past. Like on Yoon, that makes Yanfei a half-adeptus. Fact 2. Yanfei's father is likely a Sheji, a Eastern Asian mythological creature depicted as a righteous beast and a symbol of justice and law. Her hat resembles the Xianji hat, a hat worn by legal officers in ancient China, and the music track featured in her collection miscellany video is called Marching of Jinhei, Seiji. Fact 3. She is the second 4-star character to be collected in a collected miscellany video, the first being Rosaria. Fact 4. Yanfei shares her English voice actor Lizzie Freeman with Tusser, and also Felicia from Magic Record, even if this does not count as we're talking about Genshin Impact here, but I'll say it anyway. And Fact 5. Yanfei is known by these titles or aliases: Legal Advisor Lady, and My Savior by Ito, and Liwei's Top Legal Advisor by Yelan. And that is Yanfei. Next time, I'll be talking about, and speaking of her since I mentioned her in the facts, we'll go over the mysterious worker of the Ministry of Civil Affairs, Yilan. So see you next time.